The "I chose users over metrics" answer sounds great, but it almost always fails the bar raiser. The reason? Candidates frame it as a value story instead of proving they named the exact metric they sacrificed, survived real stakeholder pressure, and had a leading indicator to bet on instead. The question is, tell me about a time you prioritized user trust, retention, or ecosystem health over a short-term engagement metric. This maps to focus on long-term impact, one of Meta's 5 core values, and the one that tests whether you can hold conviction when growth numbers are pointing the other way. What the interviewer is actually listening for is whether you can name the specific metric you sacrificed, describe the internal resistance you pushed through, and explain what leading indicator gave you confidence the long-term bet would pay off. Here is how most candidates answer this question about choosing long-term user health over a short-term engagement metric.
We noticed that aggressive push notification frequency was driving a short-term spike in session opens, but our user satisfaction scores were declining. I flagged this to the team and made the case that we were burning user goodwill. We reduced notification frequency and saw satisfaction recover over the following quarter. It was a clear example of choosing the user experience over a vanity metric. The team was initially hesitant, but came around once I explained the reasoning, and ultimately, it was the right call for the product.
Metric, sacrifice never named, no specificity on what was given up. Stakeholder resistance described as mild hesitancy, not real pressure. No leading indicator cited. What data justified the long-term bet? Outcome is directional only. No quantified long-term signal. Here is what I am writing in the debrief right now. Item 1. Engagement metric sacrifice never named. Answer lacks the specificity required at this level. Item 2. Internal resistance framed as mild. No evidence of defending a conviction under real XFN pressure. Item 3. No leading indicator identified. Unclear what data justified the long-term trade-off. Item 4. Long-term outcome unquantified. Satisfaction recovered is not a measurable product signal. Verdict. Does not demonstrate focus on long-term impact. Same question. Same situation. Listen to how this candidate names the exact trade-off and defends it in the room where it mattered.
On our notifications team, we were hitting a daily send cap that lifted 7-day re-engagement rate by 14%, a number growth loved. But our cohort data showed 30-day notification opt-out rate climbing 22% among weekly actives, the users who drive long-term retention. I brought this to a cross-functional review with growth, engineering, and the data science lead. Growth pushed back hard. That 14% number was in their OKRs. I held the position using opt-out velocity as the leading indicator. At current trajectory, we'd lose opt-in permission from a meaningful share of our most engaged cohort within 2 quarters. We ran a 6-week experiment reducing frequency for that segment, accepted a 9% short-term re-engagement drop, and saw opt-out rate fall 18%. 6 months later, 90-day retention for that cohort was up 11 points.
Specific metric sacrifice named, 14% re-engagement rate clearly quantified. Real stakeholder pressure documented, growth team OKR conflict surfaced and resolved. Leading indicator identified, opt-out velocity used to justify the long-term bet. Long-term outcome quantified. 11-point 90-day retention lift validates the conviction. Notice what changed. Every number has a name, every room has real resistance, and the long-term bet has evidence behind it. Item 1. Engagement metric, sacrifice named and quantified. 14% re-engagement rate given up explicitly. Item 2. Genuine XFN pressure documented. Growth OKR conflict surfaced and conviction held with data. Item 3. Leading indicator identified proactively. Opt-out velocity used before the problem became irreversible. Item 4. Long-term validation quantified. 11-point 90-day retention lift closes the loop on the bet. Verdict, strong signal. raises the bar. Before your loop, run your story through these 3 questions. Question 1. Can you name the exact short-term metric you chose to sacrifice? If not, you have described a feeling, not a decision. The bar raiser will notice immediately. Question 2. Did someone with real authority push back, and did you hold your position? If resistance was mild, the story proves consensus building, not long-term conviction. Question 3. What leading indicator told you the long-term bet was sound before results arrived? Without this, you got lucky. You did not demonstrate focus on long-term impact. If you cannot answer all 3, your story is not ready for a meta bar raiser. How do your real stories score? Get a personalized report scored against the interview rubric Meta uses for your role. Find it at interview101.com.